Thanks for staying with us. So before the break, we're talking about this issue of side chick. And Nima Akasha Zibri sent a message, said that, I'm feeling you, YK. Let me know my competition. I want to start on that. I don't know if knowing my competition would make me feel better or feel worse, because I'd like to get some wisdom from you. And I know a lot of women also like to get some wisdom, because the truth is that we are getting to that point where this is becoming something a woman has to either preempt or accept when it happens. So if you're saying that, listen, I know my competition, let me know, that's the girl I'll be, okay, this is what you do for her, let me know. Or, I mean, how does that even make sense to you? Let me come to you, YK. How does that even make you feel good? How, is it that you have to have confidence in yourself, or what exactly? Give me some knowledge on
I will tell
understanding.
You what I was saying to Miriam during the break. I prefer to know. The reason I prefer to know is because you see, side chicks have an advantage against
one inside.
Because they know all about you, and you know nothing about them. They know where you eat, where you sleep, your house. Some know your house. Some know
your weakness.
Everything. They know the car you drive. You don't even know they exist, and they know everything about you. A thief that wants to come and steal from you watches you and knows everything about you. You don't know about the thief. So when the thief
comes,
attacks, you are caught by surprise, and you are in flagrante delicto. You are caught in flagrante delicto. Let me speak like a lawyer. If you know, you will be able to protect yourself. Now, my husband has a side chick, and I don't know about it. No, that's when me and you will fight. Let me know. Don't surprise me. So that, oh yeah, did you see me? So what does she do for you? So what does she do for you that I want to do for you? Yeah, let me start doing it for you. I want to know. I want to know step by step.
That's the excitement, because the reason why a man has a side chick is the chase.
That excitement that he's looking for, he will not find it in me.
So I understand, I'm understanding YK's perspective a bit better. Like, it really is beginning to make a lot of sense for me to be in a position of knowledge. You know, they say draw your enemies closer, and the enemy you don't know, draw your enemies closer. So the enemy you don't know can easily win the battle. Maybe when you're aware, you're able to position yourself better to be in the winning side of whatever battle that is going on. My first opinion is don't do it. And if you're doing it, before I would have said, I don't want to know. Now I'm of the opinion that I think it's better you are you understand what your battles are. Like, you understand what is going on in his head. And more importantly, I think it will help a woman to be sure where you stand. We don't like having those conversations, but I feel like women should ask their husbands if they suspect anything different. Are you cheating? Have the conversation, because you might be guessing and be thinking, and he's not, and it's something else he's dealing with. But you are sitting there assuming he's already cheating because of the way he's behaving. You have to be ready to deal with it. Like, if he's cheating, then you know.
Okay,
why you know? It's between the two of you that you are, okay, do you accept it? Oh, yeah. You know, for me, I don't want to be caught by surprise.
That's the point. Okay, I think I've gotten that message. Let me take this call. Shaston, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning.
Actually, let's call it a spade.
Yeah.
80% of guys there, 80% of men, they have side chick. Even Okada rider have side chick. It's not about you having money or not. You know, there's a saying in our language, when you eat one egusi every time. When you are dealing with your friend like that, you take up one or two now, try to take up one. You know, it's I'm not supporting guys having that. Let's face the reality. We guys, I'm a man too. I'm married and I have a side chick. It's normal. Are you getting it? It's not about the money. You understand? You know, at times, the kind of pay that the society will give you, your wife will not be able to give you.
Shason, let me stay with you for a minute. Let's have a conversation. You know what I mean? We're adults, right? So your wife cannot give you certain things the side chick gives you. Could you give us an example? Because some of us would like to learn from you. What are those things the side chick gives that your wife can't give you? Shason, Please call him back. Is it on there? Hello?
Example. Let me set an example.
Please, I didn't hear you. Please start again. Yes.
Hello, let me set an example. There was a time Lenny Kuti was talking on this show, saying, I'm 50 years old now. No, he was about to be 50. He said, there is a way a man will carry your leg, will do this thing, will do that, that he cannot do that again. Are you getting a very big example? If you want it from anywhere, they will give it to you. But you cannot handle your wife like that. Are you getting it?
Yes.
The way you handle your wife with a lot of care, so that she will not fall sick. The side chick, if the fall sick is her own business. He can farm, do anything, give you the way how you want it. You want it on top of it, on top of anything. The side chick will do that. But your wife will tell you, no. I'm not in for this. That is the reality.
Okay. Thank you, Sheso, for being very real. Honest. I really appreciate that. So that's feedback, ladies.
Yes. He's been real. He's been
that's
real.
Feedback. So, Mariam, why can't you go on the ceiling? Why can't you?
So, can I just read some?
So, let me
take some tubes. Biliki says, personally, I don't think men wait till old age before they start to practice side-chickism. Some start philandering when they are having midlife crisis, thinking is the solution. Limpid Keita says, why people blaming men alone? And who is blaming the young girls following the married men and they know the man is married? Good Beat says, men just have too much to give.
So much love to give.
Not true, you kokoro. Olajidi says, for me, the Nigerian situation has led to the explosion of the number of side chicks. I blame government.
Blame Buhari. That's what I was going to say something.
Yes.
There are so many.
For me, about 5 years, 6 years ago, I did a conference called the Sexually Confident Woman. And the aim of the conference was to help women become more comfortable with their sexuality. Many women in our culture are not taught to enjoy their sexuality. So it's a case of something they are shy about. And these babes outside, for them, is a commercial exercise. So it is not, it's not about enjoyment for them. For them, they would give all the soundtracks that the man likes, that the women don't do, just because they want to achieve the goal. The wives don't do. So I feel that men and women, married husbands and wives, need to have a conversation about intimate expectations. And if it changes, have that conversation that this thing that you are doing, I don't really like it. This is what I like. Now, it is a tough conversation because some people will start saying somebody else is doing it for you outside, or the man will say, who taught you about it somewhere else? The conference was supposed to make people say, when you go back home, tell him, I attended a conference, and in this conference, we should have this conversation. And many people have testimonies from it.
I'll come to you, Mariam. So let us put that in proper perspective. So you're a woman. You know you can learn these things and become the side chick. You have the personality and physique for it. You can do that. There are other women like, you know what? I have had 6 children. I'm a bit more. I cannot go up and down. I cannot. You know what? I cannot climb ceiling. So I will allow you mentally. I will accept that. Okay, if this side chick is for this purpose, so don't let her start taking our finances. Don't start getting apartments for her. Don't start doing. If she's the objective is to come and be on the ceiling. Let her be on the ceiling and go.
I can create a special ceiling for you guys.
I can even do, let me know that this is why she's here. After her doing, let her go. I have a family, but should we as women begin to accept, okay, there will be a time, men, so how do we compartmentalize these things? If you are the one that can go up and do ceiling, you can do that if you want to.
I think for me is that it is even simple if it's about the intimacy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the easiest one to solve. Is it that you want me to get on a ladder and climb the ceiling and be at 90 degrees? And, for me, that's the easiest. But I find that sometimes it's much more than that. Sometimes it's the companionship. Sometimes they find someone much more enjoyable than you. They like to have a conversation. That, for me, that is even toughest.
Yes,
that I have become a friend with someone else. I love the way the person live their lives. I like their lifestyle. I like I like how they chase things,
Mayor,
I just want that sort of person, that energy in my life.
I love what you just said, because that is where I have a problem.
Good.
Don't That is why let me know about the babe.
Okay.
Let me be the friend. Not I be your friend. That you go and be complaining about me too. My wife did this. No, complain to me that your side chick did this.
I know why.
Wisdom. YK, this one is wisdom. This one is wisdom.
Hassan, are you there? Oh, YK, you're on point today. Hassan, are you there? Are you there?
I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I'm here. Live and direct.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Look, there's one thing people don't understand. You see, this issue of trying to tell a wife to do certain things for you so that you enjoy the intimacy, that's not the issue. We men are carried away by a woman playing herself out without us wanting it. I knew of a lady in northern Nigeria that divorces men, not men divorcing her. And before any court, you will see the husband, well-to-do husband, begging the alkali to interfere, not to let her go, because of the way she play herself out in the other room. And you see this issue of side chick. Side chick is always attractive. Do you know why she's attractive? It's because she's always new. She always appears new to you because she's coming from another place. Unlike your wife, that you stay in the same environment, you see her every day. You understand? Anything you see every day, well in your eyes. This girlfriend of a thing, that is why this girlfriendship is much more a better side of life in life. You understand? Because she's coming from her house, you are coming from her house. You pretend to be neat, you pretend to be smart, you pretend to be sweet talking. You understand? So all this kind of a thing. And you say, you will ask your husband, are you cheating? Let me tell you, the answer is obvious. He will tell you no. The same thing they ask you, are you cheating? You will tell him no. You understand? But I'm just telling you about that cheat.
Right.
Well, I like what YK said, emotional attachment.
I was trying to finish something. You know, when YK was saying that it's best to know so that you would be now you be the side chick. And I get that because imagine if I tell Tokwe every time, no, Mariah doesn't sleep on the left, she sleeps on the right. And I prefer it when I sleep on the left. So I'll do all the opposite of everything. So I'm getting expo. The side chick is getting expo on me, on what I'm doing wrong and doing it better. Not necessarily because she's like that, but because she understands the buttons that she needs to press. But I still maintain I don't want to know. Except if it's a conversation about my obituary is about to start the next, you know, but I don't want to know.
So going back to the wisdom we feel we are getting, let's be sure that if it's wisdom we are getting that, if you're a woman now, and maybe your issue is, your husband's issue is maybe it's the other room matter, the intimate matter, and he tells you about, this girl, she's from Kiniko, she does this, she does that, and you know that is what she's there for. As a woman, you can somewhat adjust your mental state to accept that. But when there's a problem, where he's becoming so close to her and he's becoming so friendly and intimately, and not just intimate, but they're becoming companions.
Yes.
That is the deeper relationship that you knowing can stop and nip in the bud before it becomes something. Because that's the one that can remove you from as a wife. That's the one that can actually take your place.
That's the arm robber.
That's the arm robber.
Yeah. That's the one that will take over.
One that is just there to come out and go on the ceiling and go. So the ceiling one is there, but the one that is a friend, that's the one that we have an issue with.
That's the danger.
If your husband is now getting close to that one, there is an arm robber, how do you help your husband? Or how do you handle that? I wish this question came when the doctor was here.
Yeah.
So how do you help yourself when your husband is getting friendly and connecting with another person?
In practical terms, I think that it's important that each partner is sensitive to distance in each other. Because sometimes some people are married to people that they don't speak each other's love language. Like they love each other, but their communication doesn't it's not interwoven. So in such cases, you need to be sensitive to make the sacrifice to pay attention to your spouse. Because, and it swings both ways. Sometimes your partner might be someone that wants physical touch and you don't want it. So when you have such a partner, be willing to take it and be willing to give it, because you know that if you're not meeting the person's emotional needs, somebody else will meet it. Even if the person is the holiest person in the world, somebody would naturally fall into that gap.
Yeah.
So I'm a conversationalist, like gist, not like with everybody, but like with, if you're super smart, I would gist with you till forever. Until my husband noticed I'm gisting with someone, and it's opposite sex, and he had to tell me, would you be happy if I'm the one gisting with an opposite sex, the way you're gisting with this person?
Yeah, we know the person.
And, and I had to face that reality and say, okay, let me find a way to gist with your guy at home. Yeah. And we do the gist now. So for me, it is that be sensitive to your partner when that distance is coming in and be willing to make the sacrifice and come in. That's not talking about the people that are just that are just the ones that will just do.
Okay, go ahead.
And then we're also talking about people who have decided that I don't mind what is happening. I want to make this work. Because we have some people who are like, because you have decided to start looking at somewhere else or someone else, I'm done. But we're talking about women that have said, you know what, I think I can make this work. I will put in the effort to see what I can do to change his mind. And for those that is about the person's energy that they are more, that they are more after, the way the person talks, the way the person does their things, you will do the same thing the person does and do it better. Yeah. Because you have decided I want to make this work, and then you let the person see you. But there's another thing that I learned recently, where is that a woman should not focus too much on the man himself. Focus instead on interest. Let the man see you chasing things and enjoying yourself, and then he see you from the outside. So you're not fixated on the man. Yeah. How are you feeling? What are you eating? You know, constantly. Sometimes it can even be a bit too much for them.
Let me take this call.
He sees that you're independently flourishing, and then...
Let me take this call from Dauzia from Kaduna. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Sorry, I just want to quickly refer to this that spoke earlier about you saying something every day. Like, say something every day. Hello?
Yeah?
Yes. What about the woman? What about the woman? What about her? She's always seeing you every day too. But the more she sees you as a woman, the more she sees you, the more she even loves you. So why is it different? Why? Because you're seeing her every day, I don't understand.
Right.
Marriage is for better, for worse. You see how you love her. The more you believe that, the more a woman even have a child for you, the more you love. The more the child, the more you love. Just look at her. She left everything. She left her family, her friends. She treats her friends just because of this. They don't like this. She left God eat.
Thank you very much, Sauzia, for that.
She's from the opinion that we need to teach our men to be contented and appreciate their wives. Like, because same way a man is saying, I've seen you, see you every time, same way a woman too sees you and sees you finish. But you must choose to appreciate the sacrifices that the woman be responsible. We need to teach our men to be responsible.
I wanted to flip it, because there are women who are just moving on to find their own side hustle, like I said earlier. How do we help men this time around who love their wife so much, but they don't understand why she's cheating on them? Because this can go both ways. And I'd like us to talk about that, because we'll be wrapping up the show very soon. How does a man, he doesn't want to involve the family, because of course, we already know what the family will say. Get rid of her. But he doesn't want to get rid of her. He really loves that person. Why would a woman cheat? Why do you think a married woman would choose to cheat?
Many different reasons. Finances being one.
Yeah.
Maybe the husband doesn't have a lot of money, and the lover or lovers have the money that she's looking for.
Yeah.
Another one could be, maybe
emotional connection.
Or maybe the man.
One of those who are looking for younger boys, right?
So Dr. Memuna will tell that psychologically they say most women cheat more for emotional reasons, most men cheat for intimacy reasons. Physical reasons.
So women cheat for financial reasons.
Finance is also an important one, but most women is more of like they have this emotional, because they say women don't get intimate unless there's an emotional connection. Of course, money supersedes everything. But if we're thinking in terms of how to help a man, it's the same thing. It's as if you can flip it. Understand what she's looking for. What is that? What's the need that person outside is meeting? And understand, you ask yourself if you can meet that need for the person. If you can't, have that conversation. If you can't, the same thing the woman was saying, a woman remove yourself from the relationship, a man too can remove herself from the relationship. If you feel that you cannot become that person. It's like when you say, when our guest was saying that he has a side chick. The side chick does ceiling and everything, 360 degrees rotation. And he cannot ask his wife to do that. The wife can decide, maybe I want to do it. I actually want to do it. But if the wife says I cannot do it, then you can be willing to move on.
For women, I think, we chase, yes, emotion, we chase security. So I can see why a woman would cheat on a man for financial reasons. Because for many women, that security can also bring love. But when you discuss it from this angle now, then it makes you realize that cheating is just a selfish act.
Yes.
It's not really about asking how should the person now behave so that the person cheating will act
100%.
better. The fact is that you, the cheat and cheater, or however they call it, you have to decide to stop being selfish. You have to decide to respect the relationship that you have found yourself in and have and begin to communicate. When you don't communicate, many women have been accused of the breakdown of their marriage or the reason why a man has cheated without you telling them exactly what it is that she's doing wrong or what it is that she's unable to provide for you. And sometimes just the fact that you come from a society or a community that accepts it, for me, I feel that's the Nigerian story.
Thank you, Mariam.
That because they accept it, you think that it's your right to do it. Not necessarily that it's something you would chase on your own. If you lived in another country, you may not do it. But because you live in Nigeria and all your boys are doing it, you find yourself doing it.
And I'm happy you took us there because that's where I want to also wrap up. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about cheating, side chicks. It's about being responsible and choosing to be less selfish. So you know what? It's not about me. So yes, you have needs. You want something on the ceiling. But because you choose to be responsible, so you know what? Okay, yes, she can't do that anymore. I would adjust to what she can do because I am responsible enough to accept it. I am disciplined enough to accept where we are right now. We're no more in our 20s, we're in our 30s. We are now in this phase, and I'm willing to compromise. So this is what you can do. This is what I can do. Let's do it together. So it's also about being responsible because nothing is what you can't really expect everything to be exactly how you want it to be all the time.
Yeah.
So I would like also, as we wind down, say that we're not here to support side chicks. We're having a conversation to be real. That listen, this thing is happening. But even though it's real and in our faces, we must remember that at the end of the day, we are all adults, decision-making adults. I say, you know what? I choose to stay with my family. I choose to stay with my wife. I choose to stay with my children. It's your decision. You're an adult.
I think that, apart from the fact that you're being responsible, is the fact that marriage itself is about compromise. The two of you are becoming one. It means that the two of you are not the same in how you think, in how you talk. You appreciate your differences before you got married, and then you now decided that I want to spend the rest of my life. I appreciate this person's difference. When you get married, you will compromise on some areas, and the compromise is a lifelong journey of compromise. So the fact that your wife is like, it's like sometimes when my husband comes home and I'm like, bros, I drove to Mowe for site inspection. I picked up the children from school. I am going to sleep. Like, I need to sleep. Yeah. So it's a compromise that you would have to make because you understand that there is a communal goal for this family to remain one. And if I do this side chickism or I do side bobo, whatever, I am going to be compromising the integrity of our family unit.
Simple. Yeah. Simple.
And that is very important. Yeah. Let me take this message.
Can I take some? Yeah, take your own.
Judah Flourish said, side chicks would eventually choke a man's life. Not all men have time for such reckless life. I have been married to my wife without any other woman in my life for 26 years.
Praise God.
Only foolish men do extramarital affairs. And I need to say that.
Who is that person?
His name is Judah Flourish, and there are many men like this that we must highlight. It's not all men that cheat.
Yeah, Bilikis Mafe says, I wouldn't like to pretend marriage removes attraction from either man or wife. No, it doesn't. But what you decide to do is up to you. Andrew in Streatham, women have side bubble and they know how to hide it. Oladide, I'm a pot-bellied man and girls still wink at me when I'm out and about with my wife. Bilikis says,
even a my mom's tweet message.
Let me get this call. Good morning, are you there? From Ikeja. Hello, are you there?
I'm around. How are you?
Good, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you for connecting me today.
Yes, sir.
This is my first time that
welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thank you. I so much love the program.
Thank you, sir.
And please keep it up. The topic of today is encouraging. as it forms the core value of the society. As we look around the society is being destroyed today. The core value of the society, or the home, or what constitutes the core value of the society is one way or the other being eroded. So we say the devil is the one responsible or whatever. So you look at marriage, side chicks and all that. So I want to start this way. Your discussion center more on men having a side chick, as if women don't have don't engage themselves in extramoral affairs as well. We are both involved in this, so it's both ways. We should look at it both ways.
He's saying that we shouldn't focus on men alone, that women too do it.
We did actually.
Yes, You're going to read.
Oh, my mom sent a message. Says Belinda and Bill Gates' marriage. After there was a side chick all through the, all through the marriage. And I think, there was a time. I think she was referring to a time when we were saying maybe poor people cheat more, or successful men.
Thank you, for bringing Belinda and Bill Gates, because that was what I was trying to say earlier, which Mikey probably misinterpreted what I was trying to say, was that when you've both achieved, have a beautiful house in Banana Island, our kids have grown, they are in Canada University somewhere, and they are doing well, they are A-star students, in fact, they're getting a job, you are 50, you are 55, your wife is 50, and you both endured this marriage, right, for this many years. Now, you're looking good, baby, wife is looking good, husband's looking good, and he wants to have his own side chicks because he feels like he wants somebody I want somebody on the umbrella, on the roof. Wife says, I'm 50, my children are grown, I also want somebody that can take me to breakfast in Japan, dinner in Taiwan. And they both say, you know what, it's our side hustle season. But
is this still a marriage, though?
So it's a marriage of, listen, we are together because our children need us.
Convenience.
Marriage of, we are together because our kids need us when they need guidance. Maybe somebody's having their work, they need help. But as per happiness, both of us have gone out to go and find our happiness. The reason why I'm bringing this angle is that we are coming to the reality that there are people who have side chicks, and there are men who don't have. They've married 30 years. We have those ones. We have locked our own on us. That's our own side. But we are talking about people on this side of town, where this is their reality. Should they accept that, please, hold on to your wife to this season, when you're in your 50s, when you're 10, then you can now start something that look around and explore.
Then maybe write it down on the day that we're getting married and say, by the time I turn 50, and after I give you so amount of money, this is what I want. Are you down with it?
Yes.
Don't just spring it up on me in the middle of our lives,
Because there are people like us that were under the umbrella of faithful marriage. Yeah. Christian God, Daddy Gio doesn't cheat, so my husband cannot, we're on the umbrella. Yeah. Only because I know Daddy Gio is not cheating. Me, I cannot cheat. There are people like that, and we are okay in that umbrella. But for those of you in the world, we are very worried for you.
How do you know?
We are worried for those of you in the world.
How do you know?
I'm worried for them.
No, I'm asking you, how do you know?
I'm worried for them because
how do you know that Daddy Gio doesn't cheat?
Oh, I
ask a question.
Moving on.
I ask a question. Can I not ask a question? How do you know?
You don't know. I answer now. Not every question I answer.
That everybody must find a coping mechanism.
Yes.
So if you're in a relationship with a cheat, whether male or female, you must find a way to cope with the fact that you are in that space. Because the truth is, if you are in a solid marriage, you are complementing each other. He is filling in for you, you are filling in for him. If that man is not filling that gap, you would have a lacuna. And you must find a way to cover up for that lacuna by creating a coping mechanism so that you don't end up being depressed, bitter in your marriage, both male and female.
I think that's what our older parents always do when they say to you that, but you have children. Face your children, meaning now use them as a coping mechanism to stay in a marriage where the husband is
unhappy.
I don't think you should stay in a marriage if you're not happy. I think you should move.
100% agree with you.
Happiness is relative, YK. Happiness is relative, because what makes you happy is even for what makes somebody else happy.
Yeah, for somebody else.
My joy is that I'm seeing my children every day. That's my happiness, and I'm okay.
So you don't mind if you are not happy. If your husband is cheating and it upsets you, but your
children make you happy.
That means you're happy.
Stay. That means you're happy.
But if you're thinking of the person cheating and every day you are fantasizing about the fact that, this is trip to Abuja, he has carried another babe. This time he has gone to London and it's making you feel bad. Despite your joy of your children, you are still thinking about what he's doing. Then you are bitter. And then you should take yourself out of that relationship.
Miriam is also funny. Miriam is like, my husband is cheating. Oh, you should just write his obituary. No. That's what I've been saying since now.
Amen. You see, God has blessed us by God's special grace and grace. We have good men. That's why
sometimes I just wonder.
We have amazing men. That's true. That's the absolute truth. All of us on this table.
Okay.
Yeah,
but by God's special grace and mercy, nothing by what we do.
Yeah.
Not because we are great. Yeah. Not because we know how to do it. Yeah. But only by God's grace.
But also, I also believe that we're all humans.
Yes.
Yeah. We are flesh, and we make mistakes, and there's room for forgiveness.
Yes, as well.
So I think
I can
wrap up on that
of them.
Because,
No, Mara, let's wrap up on let's wrap up on the note of reminding both men and women to be committed and responsible to their marriage vows, and that every human being has the capacity. Every human being has the capacity to control themselves and their impulses. The fact of respecting the marital vows and respecting their partners. So, male and female, do not cheat. You have a responsibility to your household, you have a responsibility to your family, you have a responsibility to your partner who has decided to spend her or his entire life with you. Respect and
absolutely
faithful.
YK, your final words on this. You have to wrap up soon.
Do what makes you happy.
Do what makes you happy. Makes sense, YK. Yeah. Comments. We don't have final comments on this. Mariam, your final comments on this.
Plenty tubes, though.
I'm going to give like 5 minutes.
Plenty tubes, though.
Go ahead.
Bilikis again says, I believe the society places pressure on the marriage institution such that it appears to be more about what people would think instead of what people find fulfilling in their marriage. Good Bit says, I'm a confirmed cockerel.
Cockerel. Like you decide.
This chat says, there is no respect once there is a side piece.
No, there isn't. There's no respect.
Priscilla Jai, before being a daughter-in-law, a wife and a mother. Oh, she's talking about something else that I missed.
Okay.
Men cheat in Nigeria because there is no consequences. In some countries, you will get dumped by your wife as cheating is not tolerated on top of that you will pay alimony and support the kids. Yeah.
That one is abroad.
That's another powerful deterrent. Knowing that if anything goes wrong now, half is gone.
That's abroad now.
Yes, but if we had that, I feel that it has kept a lot of marriages in check. Knowing that it does not only cost you emotionally, it costs you financially as well. And you know, we know how very personally we take our
society abroad protects the woman.
Yes, does absolutely.
You know, the
society I remember
protects the man.
I just remember the story of this woman. Her husband was cheating on her, and the story was so pathetic, so pathetic that she raised the man, she paid for his. Everything. She practically made this man. And I remember that when family members called her, when she was just lamenting and crying, and family members called her, they were telling her, there's nothing new under this one in Yoruba. You know, they say, there's nothing new under the kilo, okay. And the woman till today, she's a shadow of herself because she was forced to go back to a man who had already built a house. For another person. A man you sacrifice your entire, everything your father gave you. You handed over to this man. Your inheritance, your everything to make this man. He builds a house for the side chick. Have children. She is now a shadow of herself. And
so that's another question.
The way YK says, whatever makes you happy.
Very important.
It's a very deep statement.
Yeah.
That kind of person, how does she move?
And now brings to me the question, which is, in marriages, people fall out of love. What if it happens to you that your husband says, I don't love you anymore, or the wife says, I don't love you anymore?
Move on.
You see,
you are more than a wife. You're a human being.
Exactly. Do what is me. Self-love. I love myself.
Simple.
I love myself. See it. So if you are not going to love me as I am,
vista, baby. Yeah. You got to run. Thank you very much. We have to run. We got the end of the show. That's all we can take on the show. I hope you learned a few things as we have. Enjoy your day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.